Hey, so I hope this one is gonna work out this time. We try to be live on the group. So I guess we're just gonna have to record it but I tell you it's worthy. We are so pumped. I'm so happy that we were at the leadership together with Eva this time. This time it wasn't just meeting for like less than 5 minutes. So real quick. This time we got to spend a few days together. It was really valuable for me. Not sure how other girls got it, but I was the lowest ranked among them, so I had ton of inspirations to pull from. So I would like to welcome Evka here, and thank you very much for being with us here. Tell us what you brought from leadership back home.
Anita, thank you. It's vice versa. I think for each of us, it was so much fun and pleasure to hang out with each other because we are learning from either people who are at presidential diamond or people who are at elite. We always can learn from somebody something. So what I brought home from leadership, I find that every leadership or convention gives me something, and it depends what kind of expectations you have. I usually go with no expectations, so I don't get disappointed. And I find I always learn something. So if we take only one thing from every convention or any presentation, webinar, only one thing, and we apply it into our life, not only learn, and not apply it or not share it with others. So that's winning for me. So what I brought home is the experience that I had with you, I had with Anik, and I had with other doTERRA people. That's the biggest thing I can count.
Beautiful. And how would you encourage people to get to different events that doTERRA is organizing or our leadership is organizing, no matter if they are already the rank of silver, to be able to participate in this leadership or other events that are out there?
Mm-hmm. I've been in doTERRA for in April will be 6 years. And I've been in different MLM company before. And after the company I finished over there, I thought I will never work with any other MLM company. And what I learned that being in an MLM company is self-education, self-development. So how would I encourage people? If you feel like you have no money, if you feel like you have no time, if you feel like you have no health, you will never have it. Because I felt many times, I don't speak English enough. I don't understand what they are saying. Why would I go? Well, if I settle for what I know, what I do, what I have, I would never move forward. So I encourage everyone just to give it a try. Because nothing happens overnight, but it happens with persistence, with consistency, with doing things what you want to have in your life. So that's why I encourage each of you, make a first step, go into convention, experience it. And if you cannot go to convention, go at least to the spring tour or post-convention tour. It's only 3 hours. I bet or even 2 hours. I bet every one of you can do it. Either you have small kids or big kids or you are retired. Just go and get the feel for it. What is the company about? What are the products about?
That's beautiful. So what do you think about this particular leadership? Who or what did you take from the leadership talks? Like, who impacted you the most from the leaders?
There was great speakers. Like every convention, every leadership has inspiring stories. But one of the most, what really touched my heart, her name was Julia Nicholson. And should I say this quick story?
Please share it with us. I love the story. I was crying when I heard the story.
Why her story touched me. There might be people who have different experiences in life and maybe they don't touch you or me as much, or what touches me doesn't have to touch you, or the other way around. But I lost in my life 2 best friends, and one of them, she was 6, almost 7 years old, and the other one was 32, almost 33. And I believe some deaths are unnecessarily, and of course we cannot avoid dying, but some deaths really of young people are unnecessary. And so that's why it really touched me. There was that lady, Julia, who they were showing video of her and her husband becoming diamonds. Julia was explaining her life, how she planned everything. Everything happened the way she wanted. She had beautiful home, amazing husband, 2 children. Actually, the younger one was 1.5 years old. Now is 2 years old. Last year, and the boy was 5 years old. And so they showed us the whole story. And I thought, okay, she's cheerleader. She has amazing life. I'm curious what's going to happen there, if there is something really inspiring or if it's only about her perfect life. And then she shared with us that last year, I have to say, she became diamond 2017. So she walked the carpet or stage as diamond with her husband, again on the video, in 2017. 2018, she went to convention by herself because her husband was taking care of the kids. As I said, 1.5-year-old and 5-year-old boy. And she got a phone call while she was at convention. She was excited. She had these 2 kids collections for her babies. And so she bought them, and she got a phone call from her mom. And her mom said, "Are you there with somebody?" And she says, "Yeah, all friends are at convention. I'm right here now by myself." So she says, "Okay, sit down." She says, "Your husband just got into an accident and he was killed." I just got chills now going through my body, because I cannot even imagine what she went through. I cannot imagine. And my life, as she was saying her story, my thoughts went into my life. What would happen if I got a phone call just like that? I wasn't with my husband, that he passed away. And I realized at that moment, we are thinking about so many things, what people think about us, what they say about us, why we don't take an action or do things. What if it's our last day? What would you do really on your last day? Or what would you say to your loved one on the last day? It really touched me, because I thought, oh my God, I cannot imagine those small 2 kids. And then she flew home, and when she came home, she tried to explain the 5-year-old boy what happened. But 5-year-old understands enough, but doesn't understand. I was 6, almost 7 years old when my best friend died, and my granddad died in the same year. And I was asking, but when they are coming back? I thought, okay, they died, but when they are coming back? So I kind of didn't grasp it yet. And so the boy was asking, "Mommy, do we have an oil so I can meet my dad in heaven?" So that touched me even more, because I cannot imagine that child is asking mom this question, and mom wants to help the child, but never had this experience and doesn't know how to explain. So she gave essential oil breath. So that was really powerful story for me, Anita.
Thank you very much for sharing. You share. I love when you share the stories this way. One day I'll be able to say them the same way. It was very impactful for me, this story, because I realized what would happen to me what would happen to me and so many other women if they lose a husband like this. Are they able to sustain their family? What happens 6 months, 9 months, a year after, when the hardest grief is over, but it's never going to go completely over, but the shock is out. Now you have to figure out how you're going to support the family. You have no money for the therapies. You have no money for houses. Most women lose their housing and they have to go live with their friends or with a family or somebody. They struggle for the rest of their children's life, childhood. So that was very impactful for me, to be able to help others to get where they are financially free, because with financial freedom, yeah, it's not all about body, but it's not about money as well. So the oils are amazing. You fall in love with the oils. Now what? I have been in love with oils 4 years before I decided to go on this journey. And it is because I fall in love with the oils. Now, I think of books, right? When you are doing your personal development and you read one book a few times, how many times you get into the same book? And it seems like it's a completely different book because you are on a different level. So even if you think, oh, I've heard, I don't know, Kimberly to speak so many times, I've heard Anita, I've heard Eva speak so many times, they speak about the same things. Or, you know, this presentation I've heard before. Hear it again and again and again, because those are same words that impact you differently. And these leaders are sharing their stories. These leaders are sharing their hearts and their journey, and you have no idea what impacts you. Even one little thing, as Eva said, that may change your or somebody else's life around you. It's worthy to go to these events.
Yeah, I like what you said, Anita. You said we are not thinking about, we are thinking about usually now what's going to happen, but we are not thinking what she was showing, how much it cost her to prepare funeral for her husband, how much it cost her to go to psychologist with kids and therapy, how much it cost her if now she lost her husband's income because she was on maternity leave. So thankfully she had doTERRA income. She was a diamond, so she could sustain her family and where they live and what they do, and she didn't have to put her kids into daycare. So that's a big thing, was even for me, what would happen if suddenly I had no husband here? What would happen if maybe, or if I was gone, what would happen to him, you know? So we are not thinking about those things because we feel like we are going to live forever, but we never know. It can be really 1 second. I was discussing that even with my husband. It can be 1 second and one of us can be gone. What then?
Exactly. What do you leave behind?
Mm-hmm.
What do you leave behind? Exactly. Then there were, of course, leadership is about us, right? So about our growth, about us being better version today than we were yesterday, and be better tomorrow than we were today. And so doTERRA is really pouring into us to realize who we are. And Rachel Hall was the keynote speaker, and what she said was really, really impactful to me. She said, what if someone just walked into your room and started saying exactly the same words to you about you that you're saying to yourself? What would you do? Abby, what would you do? Or are you super nice to yourself?
I would say it depends what kind of language are you using for yourself, you know, again, because of leadership conventions. When you go there, you realize how to communicate with people, how to communicate with yourself, what kind of affirmations to use, what kind of neuro training to use. Really, you are doing service for yourself, and then once you do that service to yourself, you can pass it on to others. So what would I do if I said to myself, wow, you're amazing? Probably I would be like, oh, I kind of feel strange that somebody tells me you're amazing. Or maybe you say, if you say to yourself, wow, you're stupid. So what thoughts do you have every single day? Do you have negative thoughts or do you have positive thoughts? So most of us will bring all what we don't know, what we are not good in. Who are you? You are not good enough. So how would you feel if somebody walked into the door and says, hey, you are not good enough. Who are you? You shouldn't be doing doTERRA. You are bad. So if we are talking to ourselves that way, just imagine somebody walking into the room and doing this to yourself. You would probably say, who are you? Get out of this house. You don't know that person, but why we are doing it to ourselves? So I invite you to start looking at different thoughts. I don't want to compare negative, positive. I want to say, maybe just write down what kind of thoughts are you thinking every single day about yourself.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because that was impactful for me because I am super rude towards myself in my head, and that if someone did talk to me that way, I wouldn't take it.
Mm.
I would not accept that. But I am, I'm accepting myself to talk to myself that way, which is not okay. And, I use the oil forgive for this, to forgive myself and to be able to release the ignorance that I put onto myself. And, work towards, realize what wrong I'm doing or what negative things I'm doing and grow from there. Realize it is first thing. And then what are you going to do about it now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share with us something more, Evie? How would we end this call? Because we've been here for a while now.
Ask me the question again. I couldn't hear.
Is there any thoughts that you would like to end this call with?
Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself on the back burner, because many times, especially women, we are thinking about our other people, family members. So we want to please everyone around us. I would suggest start to say no to things. That's one thing. And second thing is put yourself first. Because what I learned through my life, I left when I was 18. I'm out of Slovakia for almost 23 years. What I learned that when I was putting other people first, I didn't feel good. I was sick, or I didn't have enough money. How was I supposed to help somebody else? When I started to care for myself, and hey, I'm still learning that, I'm not perfect. I still put people in front of me or ahead of me, but I'm learning to recognize, I'm releasing the sensors. What I mean by that, when I release the sensor of understanding that I have to come first, not everyone around me, then I actually attract more of that and I take care of myself. I book a session, let's say I'm doing ozone therapy every week, or go for massage, or treat yourself. I'm not saying you have to spend money. You can just take essential oil and use and bathe yourself in essential oil. We were just talking with Anita about having bath after our live call. Usually I don't do it during the day, but why not today? Why not start today? So I would say put yourself first.
Beautiful. And on that thought, I'm going to end this call. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.
Thank you, Anita. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Eva.